Namaste children. Today we will discuss about the population attributes. In this topic we will discuss about the sex ratio, that how the sex ratio it can be calculated, how we can calculate the birth rate, death rate, about the age pyramids and how the population density it can be calculated. So first of all you should know about the population. That what is population? Population means that when the same organism, means the organism of the same species, which can interbreed among themselves. So that population which is present in a particular area which can interbreed among themselves only, so that is known as the population. Now next is that population, it can be like the fish that is present in a pond, the insects that are present over the tree, over the land. Okay, so it can be a population. Now next is that population ecology. Population ecology, it forms a link between the natural selection and evolution. Now how it forms a link between the natural selection and evolution. Now what is natural selection? Natural selection means that the fit organisms, they only survive. Okay, means the fit organisms, they only survive, and the unfit organisms, they will get eliminate if suppose the availability of the food resources it will be less. Okay, so how these fit individuals that are different from the unfit organism? Because of the variations that are present in them, which give them advantage to survive under extreme conditions also. So it leads to evolution, and these organisms, they belong to a population. So in this manner, population ecology, it forms a link between natural selection and evolution. Now how we can calculate the sex ratio? Like if suppose after survey in a population, it is given that around 100 organisms that are there in the population. Okay, and 60 that are females and 40 that are males. Then what will be the ratio of these? That is 60 ratio 40. 60 ratio 40 it will come. Okay, that is about the sex ratio that we can calculate in this manner. Now next is about the birth rate and death rate. First is birth rate. How we can calculate? That if suppose one example is there, that around 20 lotus plants are present in the pond, and within a year 4 more, or you can say 8, we will take 8 more lotus plants that are added. Through reproduction. Now we have to calculate the birth rate. Then how we will calculate? That is 8 upon 20. Okay. Then what will come here? That is 0.4. 0.4 offsprings per lotus per year. So you have to write this also. That is per lotus because lotus plant is there, and year because the time gap that is within a year. And similarly death rate also we can calculate. We will take one example for this. That around how many? That is 40 fruit flies that are grown in the laboratory during during experiment. Out of these 40, if suppose 4 died, 4 died within a week, then how we can calculate the death rate? That is 4 by 40. Okay, 1 by 10, and then it will come 0.1. 0.1 offsprings. Okay, per fruit fly per week. So next we will discuss about the age pyramids. Now next children we will discuss about the age pyramids, and these age pyramids that are framed on the basis of the age groups of the different peoples that are present in a population. Like some age groups that are belong to the reproductive age, some belongs to pre-reproductive age, and some they belong to post-reproductive age. Now what is actually the reproductive age here? Reproductive age means that they are able to reproduce, they are able to produce the gametes. Okay, and when the organism they are able to reproduce, then they will come under the reproductive age group. And pre-reproductive means that is before reproductive age, that is they are not able to reproduce. Okay, and next is the post-reproductive age. Post-reproductive age group, it means that the person is not able to reproduce now. They lost the ability to reproduce. Okay, so on this basis, means after survey, so the different age groups they will come on that basis, these kind of the age groups that are framed. Now in case of expanding, stable and declining, how these age group pyramids that are drawn, that we have to discuss now. Now three types of the age pyramids are there. First, that is expanding, second, that is the stable, and third, that is declining. Okay, now let's take one example, that if suppose in a population there are around three different age groups are there, like that is 12 to 50 age, then means 1 to 12 age, and then more than 50. Okay, so they will come under the pre-reproductive, they will come under the reproductive, and they will come under the post-reproductive age. So it depends upon the species, that which species we are taking. So it is different for the different species. Now let's discuss about the expanding type of the age pyramid. In this, the pre-reproductive age, that is more. This yellow portion, it is showing the pre-reproductive age, and it is more as compared to the reproductive and the post-reproductive age. Okay, so it means that more persons that are present in this age group, that is pre-reproductive. So that's why here in this age pyramid, according to this, the population it will be increased. Why it will be increased? Because the pre-reproductive age groups that are more, so now in the future, in the coming future, they will be mature and they will be able to reproduce. It means that in the future, in the coming future, now the age group of the reproductive persons, that is more as compared to the other ones. Okay, now next is stable. If you will see here that the yellow portion and the blue portion, blue one, that is the reproductive. So the pre-reproductive and the reproductive, that are almost same, so population that will be increased, but it will not be increased too much, so it is stable here. Now next is declining. In case of declining, if you will see, the pre-reproductive age group person, means the population of the pre-reproductive age group people, that is less. and the reproductive ones, that is more, and the post-reproductive ones, that is less. So it means that in the future the population that is going to decrease because of the number of the pre-reproductive age group persons. So that's why this kind of the age pyramid, it is known as the declining age pyramid. Now next we will discuss about the population density, that how we can calculate the population density. Population size, which is also known as the population density, it not always depend upon the number of the organism. In some cases, by calculating, means by counting the number of the organisms, we can calculate the population density, but not in all the cases. So how we can calculate the population density in the other cases? So let's discuss. The population size, it can be very small, and population size, it can be very large, like in case of the Siberian cranes. Siberian cranes, the population, that is, it can be less than 10 also in Bharatpur wetlands, and it can be in millions also, like in the case of Chlamydomonas. Now how we can calculate or how we can count the number of the organisms which are very large in number? So what is the calculative measures in that case? One, that is biomass. Now what are the examples where we have to calculate the biomass for determining the population density? Now let's take an example of the Parthenium plants. Parthenium plants and banyan tree. So in this case, if suppose 200 of Parthenium plants that are present and only one banyan tree that is present. Okay, around 200 Parthenium plants that are present and only one banyan tree that is present. So if suppose the Parthenium plants, they have the more population density? No, because they are very small and a large banyan tree that is present. So in this case, we have to calculate the biomass. So on the basis of the biomass, only the population density that can be measured. Okay, now let's take one more example, that if suppose the number of organisms that are very large in any area, then how we can calculate? So we will take an example of a cultural plate having the microorganism. Like in the laboratory, how we used to count. The same application we can follow, we can use in the different areas also. Like in a cultural plate, the microorganisms that are grown here, they form the colonies. Okay, then we can divide this plate into 4 parts, like first, second, third and fourth. Now we can calculate the number of the organisms that are present in one quadrant. Okay, then calculate the microorganisms that are present in one quadrant also, like suppose it comes 150, and then later on multiplied it with 4, then how much it will come? That is the total of this. Okay, the total of this, it will come, that is around 600 microorganisms that are present. So in this manner we can calculate, and this type of calculation, it is known as the relative density. It is known as relative density. Now let's take another example. Like suppose in a pond, how we can calculate? Means how we can calculate the population density of the fish in a large lake or pond in the water body. So if suppose in one trap how many fishes that are caught, so that will tell us about the average population density of the whole lake कि एक ट्रैप में कितने फिश आती हैं. So one trap, how many fish that will come. Now next is in case of the tigers, that how the tigers population can be calculated. So tigers population, it depends upon the pug marks and the fecal pellets. By noticing the pug marks and the fecal pellets, we can determine the population density of the tigers.